Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't know
guess,
shit about fuck, my man.
And with that, he's been Brad.
Honestly. Yeah. We just saved you all from somehow a completely different version of this, I'm sure, because it's almost 5 and I've been up for almost 12 hours and
shortest episode ever.
Honestly, that wouldn't be that weird given the album a little bit. You know what? Welcome
Let's
to the
talk
Two
about
Decades
it on the
Too Late
podcast.
I am Brad hanging out with Josh.
Oot.
Yep. This is a podcast in which we rate and review an album that is turning 20 years old, mostly metal for whatever it's worth. Josh and I each give a rating of 1 to 5 to 4 different parameters for an individual maximum point total of 20 and a combined maximum point total of 40.
Rock and roll.
It's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it really is.
My grand slam was supposed to be with sausage.
You know who else's grand slam was supposed to be with sausage? Not Kiss. Orange Goblin, who is what's on the Denny's menu this week.
Indeed. I'm not sure I've ever eaten at Denny's.
I have at least once.
Yeah, that seems about right. It almost seems impossible to not have it all, but at the same time, there's really not one around. Well, I'm sure there is now in Columbus, but when I would have eaten at a Denny's,
right,
would have been a long time ago, probably.
I've had all the major breakfast establishments. Perkins, Denny's.
Perkins sucks.
IHOP, Waffle House.
I've never had IHOP either. That I'm certain of. Yeah.
All right. There used to be one in our business park, and
that's a good reason.
Yeah, it tastes like breakfast, depending on what you order. If you order lunch, it tastes like lunch. If you order dinner, it tastes like dinner.
Can you get dinner there?
I think so. Why not?
Sure.
It might be Brenner, but you can get it.
Yeah, that's fair. What, I'm exhausted, so this could work out.
So
what's
Orange
the album?
Goblin, the OG, as some people might say, Thieving from the House of God, which is a super sweet name for an album, but just not by this particular band, I feel like.
Yeah. It's a little wasted on them.
It is a little wasted on them. Orange Goblin from London, England.
Weird to me.
Active
I don't know why.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all. I didn't assume, based on how many people reference Orange Goblin, that they would be British.
Yeah, same.
Nor would I have assumed that they've only been active for 9 years at this point. 1995 is when they formed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's about right for these bands, right? Mid-90s? Like, when was Electric Wizard around?
Guess. Sometime after Electricity and Wizards.
Sick, man. 1988. Well, 93. And Electric Wizard is one of my, like, canary in a coal mine for, like, stoner sludge.
That's fair.
Anyway. But
they were somewhat prolific. They had 4 album releases prior to this, so for only being a band for I say only for 9 years, but 9 years is kind of a long time.
It's a lot,
to be a band.
That's how long most bands exist. So, yeah.
An album in 97, 98, 2000, and 2002.
Boy,
they had an album this year. They're still together, and they still sound kind of almost exactly like this.
That's not surprising. The being together and releasing an album this year is weird. Them sounding exactly like this is not weird at all. Boy, what was I talking about? Doesn't matter.
You were talking about how this album released April 6th, 2004. Or
sure did, Josh.
If you're British, 6 April
I hate that. It's whatever. Also,
I do notice that with the wiki pages, like all the European pages, the dates are written that way.
Every time. Yeah. Never fails. Which, I mean, that's how they do it. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now on this particular album, Thieving from the House of God, we have got Ben Ward on vocals and guitar. Joe Where?
It's whore.
Guitar. I'm sure it's like a French where sort of situation, but I don't know. Martin Millard on bass, Chris Turner on drums. Yeah.
Martin spelled with a Y, by the way.
Yeah, I dig it. And, man, this doesn't happen to us a lot, but produced, engineered, mixed, and mastered by Billy Anderson.
That's a lot. He's really taken sole responsibility.
Yeah. Like, if this sucks, this is on me.
Yeah. Put the team on your back and go, man.
Yeah, I respect it. That will be in complete opposition to the next album we talk about next week. That is not the same thing.
No.
On Rise Above Records, which I keep thinking is Rise Records.
Rise above, you gotta rise above.
Boy, that...
Yeah, I didn't actually look into the record label at all. That's kind of a miss on my part.
Well, you should click on it, if nothing else, just to look at their logo. That is a choice. More than...
That is a choice.
That is...
That feels like the Big Black.
I don't know what to say about that. Man. All right.
I did, however, look up Billy Anderson, and stoner sludge music seems to be his deal.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, I won't get like into spoilers or anything, but sounds like he kind of knows his way around producing this specific genre of music.
Yeah. He did also notably produce the Big Black, produce and engineered. He also did a release from Bongzilla, Acid King.
I've heard of Acid King. I've never heard of Bongzilla.
Space Boy. Weed Eater.
Oh.
High on Fire.
High on Fire, sick as fuck. I actually called them out at some point in something that I did with this.
And I just want to say this last one because it's here. Alabama Thunder Pussy.
Yeah! As long as we get to them. It's all that matters in this world. Pretty big band. Really overcame their... We're naming this fucking band this, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, that's just
totally
it.
A move we would have pulled.
Oh, what? Oh, God, yeah. Except we would have never made it anywhere, but we would have thought it was really funny the whole time.
Yep.
Wait, Ghost, as in Ghost? Oh, Ghost was on this record label at some point. Interesting.
Like Ghost or the British Ghost, because there was a name discrepancy with Tobias Forge and...
Seems like that guy has a discrepancy with every single human being he comes anywhere near.
Seems the type.
Yeah, you really... but no, yeah, definitely them. That's kind of interesting. No, it isn't.
It is interesting.
Is it? I'm sorry, I called it out. I just saw Ghost and was surprised in the menagerie of the other ridiculous names surrounding Ghost.
Right. Also, speaking of names, actually, while we're here, evidently the band's was also known for a time as Our Haunted Kingdom, which I think is a cooler name.
I think that's a cooler name for not a stoner band. I think Orange Goblin is a better stoner band name. I think that other thing would be a good, like, early The Haunted style of melodic death metal sort of thing. I think that'd be sick, but...
It was a hard sell, but I'm with you.
Yeah. Both are great. I mean, that other name is objectively better. It's just, I don't know. I when I saw Orange Goblin, I'm like, we all know what this is. Like, I had never heard of them. I put them on the list because when we started doing 2004 albums, this just came up constantly. And I was like, well, like every single site I check for such things put this in the top 10 of the year.
Bummer.
Yeah, it is odd.
That means there's at least one other album that got left off of that.
Yeah.
It's probably. You know what? It's a preference. This is a choice.
This is a specific genre of music that I really don't. I do think we tend as a society to lean too hard on the either that people hate this or they love it. And it's like, well, I'm not saying there isn't a time and place for that, but I feel like with stoner metal, it is kind of like that a little bit. It's like
I kind of ran the gambit as I was listening to it. So like I had a meter, and at the beginning it was very full.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end I was sub-zero.
Yeah.
I was like, I am done with this shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. When it starts off just so strong, and it's like
it starts off, yeah,
hell yeah, and it doesn't get bad.
No,
just keeps doing that.
Just keeps doing it, and we'll probably get into it if we do a track by track breakdown, which I think we could or should at least pick out a couple of the plucky songs. But as I was listening to it, I didn't want a song over 3 minutes long, let alone a song over 5 minutes long, and then let alone
9.
a song over 9 minutes long to end the fucking album.
Yeah, that's a rough sell. I will say this genre of music tends to run long. So I was surprised by the number of, like, their songs have zero middle ground on length. They are either short or very long. They don't even really, I think only one track sits at like a 3.5 minute mark. Like,
there's a 2:20.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Most of them are at 3 or less. And it's like, they only made like one normal length song.
Right.
Which is so bizarre.
If you're talking about Just Got Paid, the one that's 3 minutes and 31 seconds long, it's a ZZ Top cover. They didn't even write that one.
That sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck. It's fine. But I had no fucking idea.
You were just dejected.
Yeah, that sucks.
I saw the life drain from your body.
Yeah. So they, in fact, did not write a normal length song. They're either short or long.
Yep.
Oh, good for them. Good for them.
But, I mean, once I found out it was a cover, I was like, this album absolutely would have a ZZ Top cover on it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't really know anything about ZZ Top.
Have you ever heard of Motorhead?
I have.
Have you ever heard of Clutch?
I have. I don't know where this is going.
What if we put both of those in a blender?
Is that what... I don't know.
Pour yourself a nice glass of Orange Goblin.
I mean, honestly, what was that beer back in the day that we used to get at Giant Eagle? Hobgoblin? Hobgoblin,
yeah.
I think there's a beer called Hobgoblin, right?
There's got to be.
Something with a goblin. I really like the name Orange Goblin for some reason. Well, first of all, it immediately makes me think of Hobgoblin from Spider-Man because he's orange.
Yep. He is orange, not green. That's the Green Goblin.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we just called him the Green Goblin. We actually thought of a name for the orange guy.
Right.
But I don't know. It's cool. It fits the vibe.
Osborn.
Right. Nepo Goblin.
Yeah, right.
I'm very proud of that, and I'm really holding back how proud. But I need you all to know that deep inside, freaking out. Absolutely losing it. Nepo Goblin. Anyway,
along those lines, I wanted this to be closer to Necrogoblicon. I would have been, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I wouldn't have been more into.
Who knows? I like Necrogoblicon. I am looking forward to hearing their new iteration with the actual Goblin being the vocalist, with the Infant Annihilator vocalist now in the band. Their vocalist quit like a year or two ago, and the actual little Goblin guy is one of the vocalists. I'm assuming he does cleans, because I can't even imagine the guy from Infant Annihilator doing clean vocals. That is bizarre to even think about.
It seems like it would not work.
Yeah, it certainly does. That's a choice of a name. I was going to say less problematic than...
The Big Black?
No, Thunder Pussy.
Oh. But it's Alabama Thunder Pussy.
True. You know what's good? That I edited last week's episode to not have all the pussy references in it. And these are more tame, so maybe this will be the one where they stay in. You know what? Yeah, nothing was. That's the name of that band.
That's the name. Yeah.
I don't even know.
We already talked. It's problematic.
Yeah.
They overcame it to find some success outside of Alabama.
Is that even problematic though? I guess like it's kind of just be like. You know what? The more I talk about it, the more problematic it could become. On its own, totally fine. That's just the word for that thing. Anywho, gang, this is exactly what you think it is if you know what stoner metal is. This is it.
Yeah.
100%.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. It's just a matter of whether are you in it for 47 minutes or not. You know what I mean? That's my thing, is just like...
47 minutes is kind of a long time to be in it. At least it was for me.
Yeah, I agree. I got to track 6 and was starting to question my patience a little bit. And by track 10, I was just...
Yeah.
Better song titles than the In Flames album, for the most part.
Better song titles than... The upcoming episode for next week, too.
Crazy Fist?
Yeah, I think anyway.
Yeah. Both are better than In Flames.
Yeah.
I know I have to look at those. I don't remember anything sticking out. But then again, you know what? That's a conversation for another week.
Yep. That's another episode.
Yeah, it is another. Oh, the first time in my life I've had the opportunity to say, but that's another episode, and I missed it. Well, that's me killing myself, and you all better respect that decision after that. Jesus. But like we kind of talked about, track 1, some you win, some you lose. Great song.
Yeah, super good. Starts off really nice.
Starts off strong. Now, is it that different than the rest, or is it just first?
It's just first. There is some decent variation. I mean, track 2 has a sick little intro riff. Like, there's some decent guitar playing on this album. There's some decent drumming on this album in a cool
Agreed.
way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything stands out particular. Like, there's no virtuosity, or there's not like a whole lot of technicality on display, but yeah, people can do stuff pretty well.
They are playing stoner metal exactly how you play stoner metal, and I will say a little elevated. Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job. You're right. I will say that I wish we listened to this and did this album before we did Clutch.
That would have been better.
That would have helped in hindsight. There's no way for us to know that. We didn't listen to either one of them until, the time came. But
yeah, this is kind of the Clutch album that you ordered off of Temu.
Yeah, that's exactly right, actually. Yep, well done.
Thanks, I'm here all week. Hard Luck. It's one of the shorter songs.
It's a good song.
It is a good song. I didn't have a lot to say about it.
No.
Black Egg is a little bit cooler. It's got some nice little... It's got the drum beat intro.
Yeah.
I think it's got a nice structure to it. Like, so I don't listen to a lot of stoner metal, but like these guys seem to actually... It's not like jam bandy. They do have a structure.
No.
Some of the parts tend to drone on a bit, in my opinion, but like they threw in a female guest vocalist for this song, Sarah Shanahan, which actually reminded me a lot of the He Is Legend album that's got some female backing vocals.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a good call. Also, I thought her vocals were better at first than when she really started belting out on this one, that is.
Yeah.
When she started really going for it, it was not good.
She totally says Ohio, too, by the way.
Does she actually?
There's definitely like I don't know. Does she say anything? But there's definitely like Ohio.
That'd be weird for a British stoner metal band to be like talking about Ohio in some way, shape, or form.
Listen, man, we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So like,
yeah, that's
where everybody's trying to get to.
That's true. That is technically accurate.
You know, it is what it is.
Ugh. This is where we're at. What's Tosh Lines, by the way? I immediately thought of Tosh.0.
I thought I read it as Posh Lines, which makes more sense to me, or Toss Lines. I don't actually know. I think it's a slang. He's a fucking donut.
the fucking donut. There you go, kids. Look that up.
I think there were some claps in that song. I could not tell. There were either some claps or somebody popping bubble wrap in the recording booth.
I hope that's what it was. That'd be way cooler.
That would be cool.
Tosh Lines. Amiable DC Alfred Lines, known simply as Tosh, was the heroic failure of Sun Hill. He was an instinctual copper. There we go. A decent man who understood human weakness because his home life was a happy, difficult, muddle and make do existence. Muddle and make do. How British is this fucking article? Speaking of Tosh Lines, cool kind of Misfits sounding track to me a little bit.
It was definitely a little punky, thrashy.
Punky Brewster.
Oh, punky. There's definitely no way to tell that we have an identical sense of humor.
Oh God, that's a deep cut. I don't think I've thought of that. I know it's Family Guy. I just can't remember like.
Yeah.
Oh, punky.
It's new Brian. He's doing the impression.
Is that what it is? Yeah,
I think so.
Right. That sounds right. I mean, I trust your judgment on something like that so far over my own. It's not even funny. I don't know. There's stuff on here. I listen. By
the end of the album, I was starting to become quite agitated. And then they put a 9-minute song at the end.
Yeah.
So my notes for that song were not necessarily constructive, but I will tell them to you if you'd like to hear them.
All I said is I would like this song if it wasn't 9 minutes long, because I think the parts are solid. And if they put it together in a different way and cut about 6 minutes off of it.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I would like to hear what you have to say about this song now that you've brought it up.
So I actually listened to this album 2 or 3 times, and all with kind of the same initial start, yeah. So
yeah.
I really do have a meter for this, and man, like you said, about song 6 it was starting to run out, and then when this one I my note is, man, just shut up. And then I compared the length of a song, of this particular song, to, you know, that situation where you've got a Roomba and you've got carpet and you've got a pet and your dog shits on the carpet, and that's already a bad enough situation, right? But then the Roomba comes out to try and clean it and then just drags it everywhere else. That's what it felt like. Trying to listen to this 9-minute song after what was honestly like 38 pretty good minutes.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that.
Pretty good minutes.
Also, yeah, that was one of my notes. Stop it at track 10. Who doesn't want a track 10 album? That's like the nice number to make it to. And then it's like, if you just stop there, and that's the one you said was a cover of ZZ Top. Everyone likes ending with a cover. That's like the standard last song, is if you're going to do a cover, that's where you put it.
Disturbed does it on every CD.
Is that true?
I think so. It's been pretty consistently true. And so, like, they had Shout on the very first album, and then they did The Sound of Silence, and then they did Land of Confusion, which is such a sick version.
I don't know if I've heard that.
Oh, it's so good.
Man, you really dropped some Disturbed.
Phil Collins, I think.
It is, yeah, that is a Phil Collins song.
There's a land of confusion.
I'm sure I've heard that. It'd be kind of weird if I... Actually, I'd believe both.
Block?
Have you seen the Make Some Noise where they are like, you're the ooh-wah-ah-ah guy from Disturbed, but these are the rest of the takes that didn't make it to the album?
That's an amazing premise.
Yeah, it's really good. Highly recommend. I will say for track 11, the one that we're talking about, that's the Roomba shit tote, is the name is sick. Crown of Locusts.
That is super sick.
Great name. And then I don't know. You got what? 3 more songs still. So 14's way too many.
Oh,
I don't.
My version stopped at Crown of Locusts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine didn't, and it didn't say it was anything special, so that's not good. Yeah, Crown of... Oh, lucky. You fucking...
Or maybe I just went off of the wiki track listing.
No, it says Crown of Locusts is the last one on the wiki track listing, too. But yeah, on Spotify...
But my shit kept going.
Huh. That's odd.
And I just turned it off. It's like, no.
You made it to the end.
No, the track listing's done.
And it doesn't even say that there was another version.
No.
What?
The wiki page is remarkably short, actually.
You know what? So is their main band page. For a band that's been around that long, it's a short as fuck wiki. Look up any professional wrestler. I don't care who it is. Like, I don't care what era. It doesn't make one that you knew that they didn't even make an action figure for. That's how obscure they were. Look up their wiki page. It'll be 10 times longer than this fucking Orange Goblin wiki, which is strange. It's a very short wiki page.
That is amazing. Oh, yeah. Like 3 more songs. But those were all short ones. That might have been good.
They're not bad. They're actually
White
pretty
Knight,
good.
Cyanide, New Rose, Bad Blues.
New Rose is like specifically kind of weird.
That's sick.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't want to listen to any of it after, if it ain't... God, such a terrible name. At track 6, if it ain't broke, break it.
I love that. I think that's great.
No.
Metal.
Yeah. The song's called... I mean, no. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stupid.
If you're listening to stoner metal, is that going to motivate you to do anything?
No. I think that's kind of the whole point, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Who knows? So beyond
here's
that,
this wiki page with not enough tracks.
Yeah. Like, am I wrong? Everywhere else there are 3 more songs, right? Like, that's not even just... Oh, these poor guys. Isn't it not even like the person who made their wiki stuff was like, they even got to Crown of Locust and like, enough.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm putting on here.
Or, it's stoner metal. They got hungry and went and got a sandwich.
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta cook some pizza rolls. Do you want to dive into any more of these tracks? I do not. Listen, people. Listen, gang. It's a stoner metal album. It's just it is. Then there's nothing wrong with that. It's just whether or not you have the patience for it, and I don't know that I do.
Yeah. And I will say this, like, I made the remark about Clutch and whoever else, a Motorhead. That's who I said.
Yeah.
Because they're British.
True.
But you can definitely follow the lineage of how this band would come to be and how they would decide to sound like this. It's not a strangled root by any means. So, like, I totally get it. I see where they're coming from.
It's not bad. Like, I can't oversell that enough. This album is objectively solid, and I just don't want to listen to that much of it. That's all.
Yeah.
So, review?
I think so.
Review! Well, Josh, we are reviewing Thieving from the House of God, the album by Orange Goblin. What did you think of this album's artwork?
I think it's super sick, honestly.
Agreed.
I gave it a 4. Their logo's pretty cool, especially for a stoner metal band. It's a little more fantasy-y than I would maybe expect, but like, I like the coloration on the image. I like the framing of the image. It's super cool. It's like a church altar that's dark out, pretty dark, and then the rest of the coloration's just kind of a shade of orange. And then the album name is barely legible in the tiniest script font on the stairs. So I think it's nice. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know if I have anything to add to that. The only reason it's not a 5 is because you can't read the album title. I mean, it's completely gone. Nope. I think the Orange Goblin band logo is super sick. I know a lot of these bands are super into Lord of the Rings and that whole sort of thing, and that kind of reads that way to me. Nothing else to add to yours. Sure. You nailed all of it. It's fucking rad. It's a sick
with
album
the little
cover.
Frame, naughty frame braiding on the.
It's fucking awesome. Which also is another very Lord of the Rings thing. So yeah, all right, cool. 4 from both of us for. That's a strong ass start to how mediocre a lot of what you just said was.
I mean, the album itself starts really strong. Let's see if we have a meter for this.
Indeed.
What'd you think of the production?
I think this is an important time for me to point out, and I can't say this for everybody, I can only say it for me. Genre impacts my opinion of production.
God has to.
Yeah, and I don't, who knows? This sounds exactly like a stoner metal album should sound. I hear everything. Sounds kind of old without sounding like, early Ghost. Or who knows, maybe even Ghost now. I don't, it's been a long time. But, like, they're not trying to sound old or new. They just sound exactly like I would expect them to sound. They do some cool shit with like a fuzz pedal here and there, which is not weird at all. If you know what stoner metal is, it's pretty normal. So yeah, I gave it a 4 just because I don't know what I would change about it. I mean, this is still what most stoner metal sounds like. I mean, you can get a little better or a little worse, but I'd almost give it a 3, but it's just the then verse now part I'm not sure would change anything, which for me kind of bumps it a little. It gives it a little extra oomph.
Boy, I could not agree with you more.
Sick.
I will say that track whatever, Round Up the Horses, that song in particular, I noticed, maybe that's what you're talking about with the fuzz pedal, but like that song is just kind of a mess of like bassy low end. That song in particular like stood out as being awfully muddled to me. But
it seemed on purpose, though,
it just kind
in
of
a strange way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with you completely. I mean, I definitely got that from that song, but it's like part of me was like, they were sitting around going, yeah.
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 So I don't even know if I could downgrade it for that. And like you said, like I can't. Their new stuff sounds the same, so you can't even. It's 2024. Yeah. It's 2 decades later, and so you can't.
Yeah.
Ding it for. So yeah, it's a 4 for me.
Yeah. All right, man. Look at this motherfucker.
It's already better.
Oh no. I don't know, man. I mean, I liked this more, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm never listening to that In Flames album for the rest of my life. Ever again. Ever. It's never happening. So
let's see what happens.
Well, I mean, but this next one is, what was the impact at the time for you?
Goose
for Orange Goblin.
Can we give it a 0, or do I have to give it a 1?
Yeah, because we haven't started that precedent yet, and believe me, there were some times that deserved a 0 more than this does.
All right.
So yeah, I'll give it a 1.
Yeah, there's no I can't think of any tangential influence that this would have.
No,
because Clutch was already doing their thing.
Yep. Like
they started before. So.
But yeah, 1 for me too. There's nothing doing. Well, this one's odd. How much did you enjoy listening to this album today?
Man, like I said, it's a scale. So if you asked me at the beginning of the album, I'd have been like, yeah, total 4. Let's do this. But then it didn't end, and then it kept not ending. And then I quit because I thought it ran out of tracks, but it apparently didn't. So
best wiki thing ever, by the way.
Super good. I gave it a 2. I didn't give it a full 1 because it does start off strong. And if you're in the mood for this and this is kind of your jam, like, you're going to enjoy it. So me in particular, I had a good time for a short time.
That's fair.
And then I wanted it to be done.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything you just said, but I gave it a 3 just because I liked a solid amount. But you're right. I was over it. Man, this is so much higher than In Flames.
So much higher.
Good Lord. You know what, though? Good. It is. It is. Yeah. This is a perfect representation of how we've done things here and how it sometimes works out in the right way. Yeah.
I will probably listen to that In Flames album again because I did enjoy it. But
no, I won't. No, that thing is complete trash for me.
I probably won't. I don't have any Orange Goblin stuck in my head.
Except the first track. That "Some You Win, Some You Lose" line is very it's like an anthem almost, which I kind of do get that stuck in my head. And then I'm like, these dudes are just like, I tell you how you land, you win some, lose some, it's all a game to me. Yep.
Flemmy from Floaterhead.
Flemmy from Floaterhead. All right,
Flemmy from
everyone.
Floater dead.
Very dead. All right, gang. We've got 11 points for Josh, 12 for myself, for a total of 23 points for this fucking this here thing. And what do we have next is our favorite songs. Josh, if you would like to...
Oh, shit. That part, yeah.
Tell me what that would be.
I really enjoyed You're Not the One Who Can Save Rock and Roll at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Black Egg actually was a close second, I think.
Yep. Well, actually, is that the one I picked? That would be kind of funny. Yeah.
I want to hear those other three, though, because they're short, too, and I might like them.
New Rose is like the most different song on the whole album at track 13, a couple after you stopped. And it's I'm not saying it's like better for it, but they really made some different choices, which are kind of cool. Nice. But yeah, Black Egg, that's what I have as my favorite at track 4. So
sick.
That works out. All right. So we've got You're Not the One Who Can Save Rock and Roll for Josh. Black Egg for me. Those will be added to the TDTL favorites playlist on Spotify if I actually remember to do that. And check us out at Instagram. For sure. Check us out on Instagram, TDTL_playlist. No, podcast. TDTL_podcast. But I was looking at the playlist, so... Yeah, I mean, I got nothing else to add. This is the most middle of the road, just crushed it with some things, though. I got to tell you, it came a lot stronger than I anticipated.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I'll do my, if you're not hip to Orange Goblin and you do, in fact, like stoner metal, or you're not sure what that is, this is a pretty good example of it. There's definitely worse out there. And they've got a deep catalog, so... maybe give this one a listen and check out the rest of the stuff if you're interested. And go and goblin some oranges. And I guess with that, he's been Brad and I've been Josh. And we are, as always, 2 decades too late.